Salon, which is right behind Shenanigans in Midtown on West Main, and she's fabulous. We're going to highlight the birth and the rise, the success story of her business, the One Bridal Salon. We'll highlight what we see as just a tremendous opportunity for a next generation entrepreneur to purchase this business. We've highlighted this on Friday's show and on Monday of this week. This business for sale, the asking price $125,000. And as someone who owns personally a couple of businesses and an advertising agency, I know how potentially bittersweet this decision is for any entrepreneur who has built a brand and a business into a success story, and then choosing to potentially sell that business. Obviously, it's got to be a fair price. So we'll highlight that vulnerability and that kind of mindset with Peggy Donowitz today on the program. Guys, the One Bridal Salon is a true Commonwealth and Central Virginia success story, and you will see it firsthand with Peggy Donowitz. Judah Wickhauer, we can start this program, my friend, when you are ready, sir. Good Wednesday afternoon, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to the I Love Seville show. Thank you kindly for joining us. We have a Charlottesville, Central Virginia, Commonwealth, country, and worldwide audience at our disposal on a glorious Wednesday here in Charlottesville. We thank the Clifton for being a part of the program. We've had phenomenal dining experiences, lodging experiences, and friends and family have had overnight and weekend experiences at the Clifton in Keswick, guys. Truly remarkable service. So a lot to cover on today's show. As promised, we're going to highlight Peggy Donowitz on the show. She is a sensational businesswoman, entrepreneur, and visionary. She's a risk taker and someone who decided to pursue a brand new career path later in life. We're going to highlight that journey on the Wednesday edition of this fine and fair program. Judah Wickhauer, if you could go to the studio camera, and if we could welcome Peggy to the show. Judah is our phenomenal director. Peggy, so much I want to highlight with you. I'm so excited to have you on. You got friends in Virginia Beach, in Richmond, in Lynchburg, Northern Virginia, and Charlotte, North Carolina, currently watching you on the show. Thank you for joining us, and if you could introduce yourself to everybody watching the program.
Sure. Thank you, Jerry, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for all the lovely things that you've said about me so far. It's going to be hard for me to live up to them all. Introducing myself, I guess I'm a Midwest girl at heart. That's where I was born, in the state of Ohio. I always tell people I was born in a very small town. It was so small that my father would send me to run errands. Just tell them at the store whose daughter you are, have them give you the item, and tell them I'll be in on Saturday to pay for it. So that's kind of how I grew up.
Is that Niles, Ohio?
That is Niles, Ohio,
okay.
The birthplace of Niles McKinley, which is about the only thing that it's famous for. And I don't think President McKinley lived there very long. I think he was born there and left.
Okay.
So I found my way to Philadelphia after I graduated from college.
Akron Zips?
Akron Zips. Geez, you did your homework.
I see your Facebook page. We're friends.
I'm a little embarrassed by that, but yes, Akron Zips. Moved to Philadelphia, which is where I had my first nursing job. I am a nurse. That's what I studied at the University of Akron. And after living there for a dozen or so years, found my way to the lovely city of Charlottesville. I had a long career in the medical profession, and at one point had a conversation with my husband, who's a physician, and we were talking about what else would you ever like to do with your life and your career. I always watched how he was so passionate and loved what he did. And although I truly loved my nursing career, I never quite felt that same passion for my profession as he did. So that's when I decided to find myself a part-time job in retail. It just happened to be bridal. I fell in love hard. And a few years after that, the One Bridal Salon was essentially born.
So you go from nurse to owning a boutique that specializes in every mother and daughter and wife's dream day.
Exactly.
I mean, what is the more high-pressure job? Saving people's lives or making moms and brides happy? Is the second more difficult?
I say that the first really prepared me for the second.
Okay.
Because as a nurse, you're seeing people really not at their best, but you also get a great feel for, it really is customer service. What's the best way that you can advocate and be there for your patients? So I think that translates very easily over to the wedding dress business and making sure that you're advocating for that bride, that you're truly listening to her, that you're understanding what her vision is, how that dovetails perhaps with the other people in her family. It may or may not jive, and how can you do the best job to advocate for her that she truly gets the dress of her dreams.
Very well said. Judah, check your Facebook Messenger if you could. Peggy Donowitz, our guest, already have questions and comments coming in. Our heat map is showing folks in Ohio watching the program right now. That could be Peggy Donowitz's influence on the program. And if you, the viewer and listener, want to give Peggy some props, just put your comments in the comment section and I will relay them live on air. So walk me through this. You and your husband have a conversation and you want to go from being a nurse, the profession you've only known your entire life,
Yes.
to going into a boutique wedding business that you were going to own, that you were going to launch, create from scratch, manage, staff, operate, and grow.
Yes.
How did that play out?
Okay, so let me think about that. I think I first realized that I was always working part-time in a bridal salon.
Okay.
So I was getting a feel for
The business.
the business part of it, but very peripheral. And also, I had always really loved fashion clothing. I was always the go-to, will you go shopping with me? Will you help me pick out my clothing? My mother always said, you know, you have an eye for fashion, but I'm never sure what that meant. Yes, I have two eyes, but...
Well, and you're a cool
exactly.
lady.
What
You're
does
a
that
cool
mean?
lady. People like to be around you.
So anyways, I started diving into that, and you know, it wasn't, although I made it sound like it was an overnight decision, it did take several years of mulling and kicking the idea around. I reached out to the Small Business Development Center, and they had a one-day seminar about how to start a business, which I attended, which then just kind of planted the seed, and it kept going from there. Beginning to do some research, somebody turned me on to the CIC. So again, I signed up for their workshop, their 16-week workshop on how to start a business, where you end up with a business plan. And that very nicely dovetailed with where I was currently at with the business. I had already signed a lease. I had already started reaching out to designers, choosing my collection for the dresses that I wanted in the store. And that just kind of fit very well and gave me the extra pieces to think about that I hadn't thought about in terms of getting the business up and running.
Fantastic. Travis Hackworth is watching in Danville, Virginia, and he says, big props on putting yourself out there as you did, Peggy. So Danville is giving Peggy Donowitz some love right now. The business gets traction out of the gates. I mean, we'll highlight why this is a smart decision for you. This is the second largest wedding epicenter
Yes.
on the East Coast outside of Charleston. Also very interestingly, and I didn't start realizing this until center on the East Coast, but within market, only 2 boutique wedding bridal shops. Only 2.
Right.
So there's not a lot of competition in this space. There's margin on these dresses, and there's opportunity to grow a business. What I found from our wedding, well, first what I found was I had no decision, no say, and I was told to be quiet. Second, what I found was this was such a, dream day that it was almost like and I know this isn't for everybody, and I'm choosing my words carefully, but it was almost like an endless. So my mother and father-in-law had everything picked for my wonderful wife for a Long Island wedding. And we got married in Central Virginia in Charlottesville because we love the area. And the price difference was so substantial, Long Island versus this area, that my father-in-law said, whatever you want, sweetheart. And then at that point I realized, oh my gosh, this is such a huge, big business. Let's start there. Put weddings in perspective and how big a business this is from your insider perspective?
Well, I mean, I think you summed it up very nicely. We know that Charlottesville has so many venues, so many beautiful venues to select from, and so many talented wedding vendors associated with this area. So planning a wedding here is basically a dream come true. One of the things that I discovered when I was working part-time in bridal retail was that so many of the brides came in saying, I'm coming to Charlottesville to look for my dress, but I'm also going to Richmond, I'm going to DC, I'm going to New York. And that was one of the reasons that spurred my...
Now, he and his fiancée are getting married at King Family soon. I believe it's a November wedding, Danny. Vanessa Parkhill is watching in Earlysville. We'll welcome Buckhead, Georgia to the broadcast. We see some folks watching around Hilton Head. What makes the Charlottesville area so special for weddings?
Oh, I think we already mentioned it. The beauty of the area, you can't beat it. And as I mentioned before, the vendors, the wedding vendors, the photographers, the florists, the caterers. I mean, you have such a plethora of people to choose from that you can't you can't go wrong.
It's phenomenal, guys. There's so much talent in this area. Now we get to the $1,000,000 question here. Why sell the business? Why sell your baby here? The One Bridal Salon, guys, is a profitable business. We won't get into the financials. If you'd like to see the financials, we need a signed non-disclosure agreement. We have those ready to go. I can speak firsthand after seeing the financials. It is a profitable business. It's got fantastic KPIs. The rent is reasonable. The location is fantastic. The store, Judah is showing photos, our director, literally during the interview of her store and her brand. I mean, it is fantastic. And did I mention there's only one other competitor in the market? Okay, it's important to emphasize. Why sell the business, and put in perspective the bittersweet nature of this decision?
So I guess I'm going to answer the question first by saying that whoever we sell the business to, it's so important to me that the brand maintains the brand, that we continue to provide an elegant, relaxed, exquisite shopping experience to our customers, and that we continue to focus on those customers, and that they're our number one priority. The decision, as I said to Jerry earlier today, I vacillate on that. It's a hard decision to come to, but I'm going to go back to that husband of mine that I mentioned earlier. He has since retired. One of the reasons why I opened the business was it gave me something to do on Saturdays at the hospital. So now that he's retired, I found that it's a little harder for me to get motivated and get up and go to the store on a daily basis. And we have lots of things that we'd like to do. I have some grandchildren I'd like to be able to spend more time with. So it's just really a personal decision in terms of where I want the next part of my life to head. But it's bittersweet. But like I said, the important part to me is that we maintain that brand and our commitment to our customers, whoever may take over the business.
Very well said. Very well said. Questions are coming in for Peggy Donowitz. First, you're getting props from Kimberly Gibson, who's watching the show and giving
Kimberly's
you some
a former bride.
Former bride is giving you some love right now.
Yes.
We'll welcome folks in Short Pump to the broadcast in Williamsburg. I'll throw this to you. Kelsey Klein asked this question, and I have a follow-up on Kelsey's. She said, how did you guys manage through COVID when much of the industry slowed down? That's a great question.
It is a great question, and I think we were closed for 2 months as required by the governor. Quiet bridal months anyways in terms of sales. But once we opened back up, even though turned topsy-turvy and things were being rescheduled, in my mind, and I truly believe this, the dress for many people became a tangible item. So even though dates were being revamped and revitalized, they might be needing to choose other vendors and a different venue, they could count on the fact that I have my dress, and that's not going to go anywhere.
That's true. I never thought about it that way. The dress was something that they could hold and that they can touch, and if they needed some reprieve from the pandemic, they could walk into their home, see the beauty of the dress, and be rejuvenated with the dream of a wedding.
Right. Exactly.
I never thought about that. The dress was almost hope.
Yes. And it was, like I said, a very tangible evidence that, yes, someday my wedding is going to take place, because here's my dress.
Very well said. So, Kelsey, great question. Great, even better answer from Peggy. So, this business, why do you see opportunity and potential for whoever takes the baton from you?
I am an older entrepreneur. I know that I had to embrace social media. And I'm sure that we could probably do better with regards to that in terms of our outreach and our contacts. I'm also a fairly private person. So reaching out and partnering with other businesses and vendors within the industry is not my strong suit, and I know that. And I think there's a lot of potential there for someone to come in as a new owner and to make those connections and to build the brand and to build the store a little bit bigger via those.
Well said. Let's highlight the channels, website and social media channels. Where can we find you online?
The One Bridal Salon.
Yeah. And the website, guys, is elegant. The social media channels convey in the deal, as does the inventory. Highlight some specs. $75,000 of inventory here.
Actually, it's probably a little bit more than that. And right now we are waiting for our fall 22 collections to arrive. But we carry dresses by Jenny Yu, which has been one of our best sellers since we opened the store. She is unique to the Charlottesville area. We also carry dresses by Pronovius, who have just some of the best and most elegant dress designs, I think. Michaela and Paloma Blanca, which are both made in Canada and have not been affected by some of the shipping and other issues that we have seen as a result of the pandemic, and also dresses by Waters and Bakar. So we think we have a really wonderful collection of dresses, as well as some accessories, veils, headpieces, and earrings.
She has made an amazing brand. I mean, it is elegant, approachable, it is sexy, it's timeless. It's beautiful. And I love on the show, and what we try to do on the network is to champion the small businesses that make the community special. And I think your brand and your business and your effort embodies those qualities. And I agree with everything you said. With meeting with you, both of us are vetting each other in the process of selling a business. And meeting with you, I immediately saw the potential for the next generation, and I saw the effort you put into it. And I agree that there's tremendous potential as the social channels can be expanded or grown, and the opportunity to form these with other Peggy Donowitz's experts in their various silos or spaces of business. I think you hit it perfectly. We're going to bust our tail to help you make this happen. We wish you the best, and we give you an opportunity now for maybe some closing thoughts. So anything you want to relay to the community, thanking them for support.
Thank you. Of course, I could not be in this position if it wasn't for the brides who have put their trust and confidence in us, who have walked through our doors. And there have been so many memorable moments in our store that enough. It's been a pleasure. I enjoy every time I walk into the store. So I do want to thank everybody, like I said, all the brides that have purchased their dresses with us, even the brides who haven't, but who have allowed us to walk down that dress shopping journey with them. Thank you all very much.
I can tell. I feel like one of the beautiful things about this show is you get to connect with people, and I can just tell, like, from your energy, how much you care about this business and how much it means to you. And part of you may be saying, don't get emotional, because I see it.